What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. So it seems like everyone's panicking, everyone's freaking out, and everyone's focusing on the negative, but I'm going to try to still have some fun here on the Time Teller channel, and guess what? While everyone's buying toilet paper, I'm still buying watches. Okay, you gotta get your priorities straight out there. So if you recall, last week I did an unboxing and a bit of a review on the cheapest automatic watch I could find on Amazon. Now, it was better than I thought it would be. I think I spent $15.99, but still there were some things about it that I just couldn't look past, and I really couldn't recommend it because of that. If you haven't seen that review, click up here and watch it. But upon doing some research, when I got that watch, I stumbled upon another watch, and it's a bit more expensive than $15.99, but it's still well below $100. It's actually $49.99 at the time of filming, at least that's what I paid for it. And the spec sheet is very, very impressive. It's automatic, but it's got a sapphire crystal, and again, for under $50, hey, this might be a very good sub $100 watch recommendation, but I won't know until I unbox it and spend some time with it. So why don't we just do that? Come on, guys, we got it. Let's try it. Don't freak out, all right? There's still some good in the world, and the good comes from cheap watches. No, but seriously, I hope everyone's doing well out there, and I hope everyone's staying safe, and just, again, remember to wash your hands. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and unbox this dang watch. It is 9:21 a.m. Let's get down to business. Alright guys, now real quick, the watch I am wearing today is still my Orient Defender. If you haven't seen the unboxing, click up here and check it out for the full review. Now, I clearly am enjoying this watch because I got it not too long ago, and it's been on my wrist ever since. So, very, very nice watch. Let me try to find the package. I don't even know where I put this dang watch, but let's get it and cut it open. All right, people, we got our caliper tool to take some measurements of the watch, we got a pocket knife, and we have a package. And as I said, I bought this on Amazon, so it's time to do a freaking unboxing, am I right? Click that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and let's cut into this. Now, today, we are using a very old 1945 British military pocket knife, Joseph Rogers & Sons, Sheffield, England, oil the joints. Hell yeah. Anything else in here? Nope. Okay, so here it is. Box pretty standard. Got some numbers and letters here that I don't understand, but here's the important part. Star King, top brand, what does that say? Loom scratch proof M Ale. Don't know what that means, but okay, let's take a look. Now here is a nicer box. Look at that. Grains. It's black. Ooh, stocking. It's so funny. In my last review, when I did an unboxing of that $15.99 watch, people were so upset. Why is he talking about the box? Well, it's because it's an unboxing and a review. Like, obviously, I'm going to talk about what's in my hands. It's like they've never been on YouTube before. Crazy. But this is actually very nice packaging. The other box, $15.99 watch, didn't really come in very good packaging. This actually has very nice packaging. But we don't really care about that. We want to see the watch. Here we go. All right, so here it is, the Star King automatic luxury watch, scratch resistant, top luxury, top brand, whatever they call it on Amazon. Right out of the package, this feels lighter than that $15.99 watch. This doesn't feel as hefty or as heavy, but it feels actually quite nice in the hand. Let's go ahead and take off this plastic so we can actually really get a good feel for what is going on here. Who put this on? Spider-Man? It's like... Alright, so I had an absolute battle getting that protective plastic off. Let me go ahead and kind of wipe it down with my microfiber so we can get rid of any fingerprints here, any evidence. But okay, so right out the package, this actually feels quite nice. First impressions, the finishing is actually pretty good, at least on the front end. When we look up close, we might see some things, you know, that show otherwise. But again, when we're looking at the case back, we can immediately see much more decoration and detail, especially when we're comparing it to that other, the cheapest automatic watch on Amazon. We can see the rotor is a bit more decorated, and we can see some actual design here. It looks like the Star King logo. I don't know anything about this brand, but if, you know, the packaging is any indicator, that must be the brand's logo. We have a sticker that I'm going to remove. We have some engravings here. It says Star King automatic, all stainless steel, 50-meter, water resistant. And then it also says sapphire. Sorry for holding you guys out of focus there. It's difficult to read. Difficult to read and also film. It's like I have to multitask or something. All right, let's go ahead and feel the crown. I think there is 2 settings. Let's pay attention to the date window here. Okay, so that is quick set. And look, the date is actually centered in the window. How nice is that? Okay, so we have 2 tangible, tactile crown settings. 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and move the hands. Oh, the second hand stopped. So there is hacking. Very nice. It's around 9:36 a.m. So let's go ahead and set the time. 9:36. Perfect. Ooh, I can hear some winding. Let me hold the watch up to my mic. So you can hear that little ASMR action. You can hear that it is winding. So this watch, yep, second hand stopped. It does have hacking in hand wind. And again, for those of you who don't know, hacking is where you can pull the crown out. So let's say we want to stop it at 12. Boom. And we can actually synchronize the watch down to the second to another time source. So if you want to use, you know, your wall clock or another watch that you have, or your computer or your iPhone, you can synchronize your watch to another very accurate time source down to the second. So that's a nice function to have. And then hand wind is very self-explanatory. It's where you can wind the watch by hand. But of course, this is an automatic, also known as a self-winding watch. And that means, you know, this rotor or counterweight rotates as you wear the watch, and that will give the movement some juice there. Okay, I'm already very, very impressed with the fact that there are 2 very tactile, discernible crown settings. And then look, again, the quick set date is actually centered in the window. You'd be surprised how difficult it is for companies to do that. So bravo, Star King, good job there. Let's get you even closer and we can really inspect this watch. All right, so as we lay this Star King down on the desk, we can see the sharp handset and those triangulated applied indexes really catch the light quite well. I'm not even moving the watch right now, and you can just see the light glimmering off that handset and those indexes. Also, one thing I'm noticing, it seems the second hand has quite a smooth sweep, smoother than my Orient Defender. So I think this watch actually might have a 28,800 BPH movement, which is incredibly impressive for a $49.99 watch. That is ridiculous. Let's go ahead, as we inspect it further, let's take a look at the actual measurements of this watch. Now, when I did the last episode measuring what was it called? That IK coloring watch, the $15.99 watch. People were confused as to how the caliper works. So literally, as you move it, let me get you in focus here. It's going to measure, you know, whatever the the diameter is, or when you put it here, you know, the lug width. Now, you might see it move after I read the measurement, but it's because literally if you move it the tiniest amount, it's going to say something different. So forgive me, I'm going to measure it real quick. The camera's going to be focused on the watch, and you're just going to have to take my word for it that, you know, the measurement is what I'm saying, because by the time I take the caliper tool off the watch, this is probably going to read a different number, but it's because, of course, I had to move it to take it off the watch. But some people were a little bit confused in my last unboxing. But okay, let's go ahead, zero out the tool. We will go and let's check out the case diameter. So at the thickest point, excluding the crown, of course, we don't want to measure the crown. It seems that this Star King has right around a 40.1 millimeter diameter, but the more important metric here is the lug to lug, because the lug to lug is really what tells you how the watch will wear on your wrist. So it has a 47.8 millimeter lug to lug. That's the space here to here. Now let's check out the case thickness. 11.3 millimeters thick, and for an automatic watch, that is absolutely reasonable. Let's go ahead and check out the lug width. That's not to be confused for the lug to lug. The lug width simply tells you what straps you will wear. That is 20 millimeters, so you're going to put 20 millimeter straps on this Star King watch. All right, so all in all, very nice measurements here, totally reasonable for an automatic watch. Now, what I will say is I have 7.5-inch wrists, and I think this watch is right in that sweet spot for me. If you have smaller wrists, I don't think this is terribly large, but I'd love to hear from you. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it might be too big for you? Do you think it might be too small for you? Again, for me, this is right within that sweet spot, and I think it's actually a pretty versatile size. I think a lot of people could pull it off, but let's go ahead, throw it on my gargantuan, ugly, hairy wrists and see what it's like. Okay, so here it is, the Star King top brand, men's luxury, whatever they call it, on my 7.5-inch wrist. Now, this watch, right off the bat, has an atrocious strap. Okay, this strap is absolutely terrible. It feels like kind of, I don't know, plasticky leather, but instead of it actually being padded, it feels kind of hollow inside, so it almost collapses in the middle, and it's not supple at all. It's stiff, yet the middle is kind of hollow. It doesn't feel good, but of course they had to cut costs somewhere, and if you're going to pick up this watch, has a 20 millimeter lug width, excuse me. So, you know, that's a very versatile size, and you can put a bunch of different straps on here. So if you were to pick up this watch, yeah, just spend a little bit more and maybe order another strap with it, because the strap is terrible. But again, $49.99 watch, had to cut costs somewhere. Feels good on the wrist, lays very, very flat. Again, it was what, 11.3 millimeters thick? So for an automatic watch, fairly flat, very, very reasonable. Again, look at how the indexes in the handset play with the light. That's super impressive. I really, really like that. We got a little bit of etching here, Star King, very nice. Let's see, I can't tell if this is a protective plastic. I think it is right here, this blued part. I'm pretty sure you could just scratch that off. But it does look like underneath that there is some signage on the crown. I'll get a close-up shot of that for you guys as well. But I did take off the plastic on the case back, so I do want to take a look and really inspect that case back and that movement. Now, something about that second hand, I don't know if it's a true high beat, but it looks much smoother a sweep than my Orient Defender. Guys, I gotta tell you, it's a very simple watch, okay? But there's no off-putting branding, okay? Yes, it's kind of basic. It just says Star King, and then there's the logo, and then it says automatic. But that's a good thing. I don't like unnecessary branding on watch dials. It's simple. It's nothing too in your face. Could they have maybe put an applied logo where it's more of a badge instead of just simply printed on? Yeah, they could have. But again, it's simple, and it's not a turn off, at least. Let's go ahead, take it off, and check out that movement. All right, guys, so here is that display case back showing off that automatic movement. Now, for those of you familiar with how I like to do my reviews and my unboxings, you know, I like to take the watch out of the box and give you my initial first impressions before I go into my cheat sheets. Now, speaking of those cheat sheets, looks like I am right on the money here. This is a 28,800 BPH movement, meaning this is a true automatic high beat movement for under 50 bucks. That is very, very impressive. Now, one of the funny things about this watch and the movement, they call it the AM0184 Star King, is that when I tried to find out any specifics about the jewel count or anything, it just says, has a high number of jewels. Now, there are a bunch of people reviewing this watch online and they all come to the same conclusion. It just says high number of jewels. Now, I'm not a watchmaker, so I'm not going to take this apart. Maybe, you know, I can give this to my watchmaker. Again, special thanks to TikTokwatchrepairs.com. Maybe they can go ahead and take this watch apart and kind of see what makes it tick. Yeah, that'd be a good idea for a future episode. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, the one thing I am incredibly impressed about is that this is a 28,800 BPH movement for under 50 bucks. That's the same sweep as like my Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot with its Salida movement. Now, you can see there is a little bit more decoration when it comes to that screw holding the rotor. It's blued. You can see this design here with the Star King logo. I like how you can see that screw rotate in the middle of that logo, a nice little detail there. The rotor isn't super decorated. It's kind of just some machining there. No Star King etching or anything on that rotor. I would have liked to see that, but again, it's not an ugly movement. It's not hyper decorated. But at least it's clean in there. It doesn't look like, I've seen much worse, some from, you know, certain micro brands, but this looks pretty nice. Let's see, screw back or screw down case back. Let's get a close up of that crown for you there, if I can get in focus. So you can see there is the Star King logo on that crown as well. And let's see if I can hold the watch in focus. Yep, there's that Star King logo. And again, there is that date window. Some nice sloped cuts there, and it is fully centered, which is honestly incredibly impressive. All right, so this Star King automatic, we've spent some time with it. I've put it on the wrist, I've measured it, we've looked at the movement. It's high jewel movement. It is a high beat movement. We've looked at the crown setting, we've looked at that date complication. What do I think? Well, I think I'm incredibly impressed, and this kind of, I don't know, opens up, broadens my horizons, if you will. I would, and I know I've only spent a few minutes with this watch, but I would recommend this watch to someone looking for a nice automatic watch, but doesn't want to break the bank. I mean, normally, I would recommend the Orient Bambino as someone's first automatic dress watch, but come on, this has a higher beat sweep than a Bambino even. So I think for under 50 bucks, right around 50 bucks, I don't think you can go wrong with this. Now, is it gonna fall apart if you wear it after a week? It doesn't seem so. I mean, just holding it, and this is gonna sound a little bit maybe narcissistic, but with my familiarity with watches, this feels very nice and it doesn't feel like it's going to break. Now, I haven't worn this long enough to truly give it my seal of approval. Yes, this is going to work for a long period of time. You won't ever have to worry about it. Again, I just unboxed it a few minutes ago right in front of you. But if my familiarity with watches is anything to be trusted, this feels quite nice, and I probably would honestly trust this watch. And that's why I'm gonna go ahead and actually recommend it for under 50 bucks. This is so impressive, and it kind of throws my whole spectrum through a loop. Again, the Orient Bambino is kind of the lowest I would go price-wise when I would recommend a dress watch, but man, oh man, does this change things for me. And again, we gotta look past the branding on the dial. We gotta look past the little letters here, Swiss made. Don't worry about that. If it's a good watch, it's a good watch, regardless of who makes it or regardless of where it's from. The one thing that's captivating me right now is this handset. I mean, look at that. How the light kind of glistens at the top and then it gets darker here by the spindle. And the indexes are all very precise and sharp. Nothing seems to be wonky, cattywampus, as people would say in the South. Looks very, very nice. And again, boy oh boy, does this change things for me when it comes to recommending things on a certain price scale. So I can say right now, Time Teller channel, I recommend the Star King. What is it? AM0184, I think is what it's called. The Star King top brand, as it's called on Amazon. I can recommend this as the best dress watch for under $100. This thing is crazy. Sapphire crystal. Again, high beat movement. It's just ridiculous. I'm very impressed with this watch, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, leave me a comment. What do you think about this? So guys, if you're interested in picking one of these up, I will find a link for Amazon. It'll be at my affiliate store in the description below, so click on that and check it out. I think they have a black dial variant as well. Again, this threw everything through a loop for me. For under $100, I don't think you can go wrong with this. I think it's an amazing watch. Hacking, hand wind, two very nice tangible tactile crown settings, a date complication that is quick set and is actually centered, very precise, sharp applied indexes, a 28,800 BPH high beat movement. It's automatic, sapphire crystal display case back. Again, 20 millimeter lugs. So you can find a lot of straps out there if you want to put it on a Perlon, if you want to put it on a different, maybe a distressed leather strap, or maybe a different dressy leather strap that doesn't feel so kind of stiff and plasticky. You have options out there. And again, with a black dial variant, if you want something more understated and a little bit warmer, go with that. But guys, Star King crushed it. This is very, very cool. Special thanks to my channel members for giving me the ability to pick up these watches and review them for you. If you want to join the channel, click the join button next to the subscribe button. It's pretty much YouTube's Patreon, and pretty much all of the support does come to the channel. And again, for channels like mine, Google, YouTube, not super duper good to us, so we get most of our support from our channel members. So again, we can't do any of this without you. And I want to thank you guys because we broke past 91,000 subscribers, and 100,000 is right around the corner. So guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this review, if you enjoyed this watch, leave a thumbs up. If you learned something today, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on anything going on here. You can check out my personal website, www.thetimetellershop.com. That is the #1 place to find affordable vintage luxury watches serviced with a 1-year warranty, handpicked by me actually. Yeah guys, like, comment, subscribe, share this with everyone that you think would be interested in this watch. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it.